listening to the Betmaker Show. This is the Golf PGA ZOZO Championship betting odds preview for Monday, October 21st, 2019. And now, live from Las Vegas, the host of the Betmaker Show, Brian Blessing.
All right, folks, we love talking golf. It's always a treat when we get to huddle up with our good buddy Cam Stewart. I'm Brian Blessing in Las Vegas. Cam, north of the border, and golf is a global game. We are now talking about Japan and the inaugural ZOZO Championship.
The ZOZO Championship. Yeah, I thought that was an album from Zeppelin, but hey, man, I'll tell you one thing, Brian. This overseas stuff, you got to give, even though Justin Thomas, what was he, plus 650, this guy does really well in tournaments like off American soil. The second win at the CJ Cup, he's just got game, his 11th win. I wish we can get some more value with this guy, but the books are smart. They know they're not going to put him at 12 to 14 to 1, plus 650, but this guy's money in the bank, and he looks like a guy that's going to be winning a lot of tournaments.
No, there's no doubt about it. I mean, and when, you know what he's got to his game, Cam, he's got a little young tiger to his game in that he's a great rabbit. If he's got the lead,
yeah, you're right.
He is tough to track down.
Excellent point, too. No, and that's the thing. Like, you know, we might bust jokes about the get-along gang and stuff like that, right? And Justin Thomas is one of those guys. Think about this. When he came out, it was always Spieth, right? And even though they're best friends, so you gotta think. You know, they both go to the University of Texas. Thomas, after a while, is just like, really? Okay, you're going to talk about Jordan Spieth all the time. Well, I think I'm better than him, and he just has more of, in my opinion, like. I think it kind of burned his saddle a bit because he's always hearing about these other guys like Fowler overrated and whatever, but he's the guy that actually wins out of the get along gang. I'll bet on him over anybody.
Yeah, you look at this event: Justin Thomas 7-1, McIlroy's 8-1, Matsuyama 18-1, Schauffele 22, Jordan Spieth 25, Gary Woodland 25. Didn't play bad last week in South Korea.
He was good,
but they had the skins thing. And McIlroy, Matsuyama, Tiger, and Jason Day played this one-day skin thing in Japan. It was kind of a circus act, but Day won the thing, the longest shot on the board in that event. He's 33-1. Tiger's 33-1. I would say this. Jason Day didn't play bad in South Korea. Actually put a couple of potatoes on him in the skins thing, and he came through. But I can see Day saying, hey, made a little cake. My trip to Asia is not a waste of time. Momentum's a goofy thing. I take a look at Jason Day in this thing.
No, that's the thing, too. And you look at the other guys that are priced, you know, like above Day. And other than Woodland, you know, Tommy Fleetwood, what'd he do, really? Like, you know what I mean? He's a guy, he shows up. He never seems to win. Jordan Spieth, I'm still not going to take at 25-1. It's getting a little bit better, Brian, but no. Patrick Reed, I don't know what I'm going to get from him. So yeah, when you look at it, you know, I'm breaking it down. Hovland, we're waiting for. He's always there, but hasn't got the victory. When I see guys like Jason Day at 33-1, Tiger Woods, what's he done the last little while? I don't know if he's been practicing, playing, whatever the hell he's doing. I could definitely tell you I'm not taking him. I'll take Jason Day at 33-1. I agree with you. He's come out in the last couple swings have looked pretty good for Jason Day, Brian, and he's a weird guy. Every time I have him in a tournament and I need him, he screws me, but I think Jason Day, we're going to have a little bit of a resurgence from him, and I really like that price. 33-1, that's a good price for a world-class player.
Yeah, the one thing's a little squirrely, and it would be a bit of a cautionary tale for you. That is, he is working, and you hear this all the time. First, he went through Stevie Smith. He changed caddies. Can he stay healthy? And now he's doing a swing change thing. But he's got a really underrated world class. He's a top 5 to me. Short game.
Oh, his putter.
He can roll. He can roll the rock, but he's really underrated with his work around the greens.
Yeah, I agree. Like Jordan Spieth, we talk about par saves, but Jason Day has to be in that conversation of the best in the world. When his putter's going, yeah, he can win tournaments by a lot of strokes, Brian. You bring up a good point. Like I'm looking at the rest of the field there, and I see, you know, you talk about he throw out the V word value too much, but I would have put Jason Day probably around the 22 mark, where Schauffele is 22, 25 with Spieth, but 33 I like.
Hey, let me give you a decent number here. I think flying under the radar from a current form perspective, Ryan Moore, Moops is 66 to 1, bud. Played well in Vegas.
He's done well overseas before, too. He's won. And it's one of those things. It's weird. You wouldn't expect Ryan Moore, but I love Ryan Moore, Brian. He's a guy I know. I take him all the time. I've been waiting for him to really get more consistency in his game. But, man, Moopsy, yeah, it's 66 to 1. And as I said before, it's funny. He goes to UNLV, but when he goes overseas, he likes to cash a check. And, yeah, I like Ryan Moore a lot at 66 to 1, Brian.
And I would just say this to you. He finished 8th in the tournament in South Korea. But here are his rounds, Cam. He 69, 67. Moving day, he shot a 72. And then he comes back Sunday, shoots a 68. It's like one round kind of got him there. Got him out of sorts. But current form, I think he's playing extremely well. And, Victor Hovland's terrific, right? I mean, the kid's a future. He hasn't won a damn thing yet. And he's 30 to 1 and Moore 66 to 1. And you're cutting them from the same cloth coming out of that tournament in South Korea. I'm taking 66 to 1.
Yeah, it's like bet on. He's a great golfer, but you know what I mean? Every time I take him, sure, he might finish second, might finish third. Great finishes, but can he close the door? Moore's won before. On's 45 to 1. I look at some of these other guys. I don't know the current forms. Louis at 45, Sergio at 50. It's a nice field though, Brian. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, out of those guys, I would look, and the guys that I lean at that price more than others would be Putnam at 66, another good American player, and Moore. I got to avoid some of the other bigger names and go with those two.
How about a couple coming off the layoff, bud? Louis at 45 to 1. Louis Oosthuizen, 45 to 1, coming off the shelf is a nice price. Shoffley, phenomenal player, 22 to 1, but not at the price.
Not at the price. He's over. The thing about Shoffley is it's one of those guys, it's weird. He's overpriced, where guys like Louis, who still could play, are underpriced. Guys like Leishman at 45, they're underpriced. Morikawa, a guy I take every week, he looks like, for a young guy, he's starting to tire a bit. So I don't even, I usually take him, Brian. His odds up to 35. I'm probably going to have to pass.
You want to... On what's today? Canadian Election Day?
Yeah. Yes, it is. Am I going out to vote? That's another thing. I don't know. My dad just called me. Was it to take him somewhere, or to take me to the polling station? I don't even want to vote for any of these turkeys, Brian. It's a bad bunch. I could tell you that. It's brutal.
All right. Well, I'm going to say though, you want to wave the maple leaf flag?
What, Corey Connors for prime minister?
No, not Connors. I was thinking, Hadwin is a guy can go low. And to me, the fall series, these are the kind of tournaments this guy makes his hay.
Oh yeah, for sure. I love Adam Hadwin. Adam Hadwin is one of those guys. He gets no respect from the betting lines. He's always there, top 10s, top 20s. He's fantastic. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, seriously, Adam Hadwin is 50 to 1. Sung Jae Im is 35 to 1. Again, Hovland, at 30 to 1. Give me a guy like Adam Hadwin. I mean, they're I don't know. That seems like an overlay to me.
The last time we took Hadwin, didn't he finish like second in the tournament where Cameron Champ almost, he was emotional. He had the family thing going on, and he almost pissed it away. And we look at the leaderboard, and you see Adam Hadwin right there, Brian, and Champ had to birdie the final hole, or he would have been in a playoff with Hadwin. So, yeah, Hadwin doesn't get the respect he deserves at 50 to 1. I can tell you that. That's a good eye there, Brian. I like that.
Betmaker, let's make some money tonight.
For outstanding information and special offerings and promotions, we invite you and encourage you to sign up for our newsletter today, simply by going to the website at betmaker.com. All right, and then just something I'd like to see. It would be Matthew Fitzpatrick in a playoff with Charles Howell III.
Boy.
And
eating corn?
And the winner of the tournament has to eat a corn on the cob.
You think Gillette sensors are sharp? Fitzpatrick and Howell, man. You put those on my face, and there's going to be a chasm.
That's terrible.
Strips. I don't know what the hell's going on there. No, I look at those teeth, and I'm like, I get scared.
Forgive me,
Brian.
God. Forgive me. That's awful.
Low-hanging fruit, as you like to say. No, great guys.
That was something to say to you. Wait, that was something to say to you on a phone call, not on a podcast.
Matthew Fitzpatrick, the famous book of British smiles. That's the thing about Britain. I don't think there's fluoride in the water. They got some real nasty choppers over. But anyway, that's a story for another day.
Well, by the way, I don't know what prompted me to do this.
You always do. You love talking about Charles Howe's teeth, Brian.
No, but it was a month ago or 2 months ago. I bet Matthew Fitzpatrick to win the Masters. I took a little flyer on him at like a stupid number. And, he's in good form. Matthew Fitzpatrick, in all seriousness, at 33-1 is in good form.
Oh, he's in great form. He almost won the last tournament he was at. He fell down the stretch. Another top 5 performance. He's always there. You look at him on the European Tour, like if he's not on page 1 of the leaderboard, I don't know what's going on. This guy is amazing. He's a very good golfer, kind of like the way I did Cantlay. When I got Cantlay at like 50, Brian, I think he's down to like 33-1 at Augusta. So sometimes you got to find these guys, get a price. Yeah, and Fitzpatrick, I think you got him at like 80 or 100. That's something crazy. Maybe even more than that, right?
It is. Yeah, I'm punching it up here to see exactly what the number was. But while I'm doing that, I would just say to the point you're making, and it is a great point to make, when you're talking about betting golf, what we want to do is identify the guy that's going to be the next guy. Now, the Hovlands and the Matt Wolfs, in the Get Along gang and the kids. But golf is one of these things. Cam, we've been doing this a long time. Don't forget, remember Nick Price?
Love Nick Price.
I mean, in his 40s, he became the number 1 golfer in the world. Vijay Singh became the number 1. You know what I mean? That a lot of these guys, they'll just be grinders. But the golfer's prime, it's not like a football player or a hockey player. Your prime's 26, 27. A golfer's prime is in their early 30s.
Look at Bernard Langer. This guy's still doing it. Like, are you kidding me? Every single week, I'm like, they're waiting for this guy to fall off. And remember, he's one of the elder statesmen on the senior tour. There's guys who have turned 50, and he's beating their asses down. No, it's one of those things, Brian. I agree 100%. There's this other American guy who's like a software salesman. He's like number 2 in the Charles Schwab Cup, like came out of nowhere, didn't even have a PGA career. It happens all the time. Yeah, golf's one of those weird games. You could lose it, and you can get it back. Ask Lee Westwood when he became like 400th in the world, or Danny Willett from winning the Masters to losing it to getting it back again. It's a pretty crazy sport.
Do you remember Lonnie Nielsen? Do you ever remember hearing the name Lonnie Nielsen?
Lonnie Nielsen, yes, the name that.
Well, it was on the senior tour.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this guy was the pro at Cragburn Country Club in East Aurora. He had a world-class game, but he had, such a cushy job. He never left the club. Right. But then the senior tour thing kicked in and he just appeared out of nowhere. Well, he won senior tour events. I played in a member guest, or no, it wasn't a member. It was a pro-am, a charity pro-am down in Wellsville, Pennsylvania. And Lonnie Nielsen showed up, literally as we were about to tee off. It didn't hit any balls, anything. Walked up, snap hooked one OB. The first hole we played was a par 5. He snap hooked one OB. And shot 67 in my group, right? And it was one of the greatest shots I've ever seen. I'm playing with this guy. It's a par 5, and he pulls a 2-iron out, his second shot, and there's like a little V in the trees, like an opening that maybe was 15 feet wide, but it was 120 yards down. He stripes his 2-iron right through this 15-hole window and hits it 4 feet from the hole from 230. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Did he just do it? But, the point is, older golfers can bloom on the scene and cash numbers for you.
No, very true. And if you're looking at some older guys, we've talked about Ian Poulter as a guy that we've looked at, like veterans who can do well. Graham McDowell seemed to found his game again. I'm not going to take those guys this week, Brian, but I really like where you're going with the pick of Hadwin at 50. I really think that's strong. You identified Moore at 66, a guy who could play well there. Yeah, there's some interesting guys. And you like Day at 33-1. I can't argue. The guy wins the damn skins game, and now you're giving me a 33-1 price. It's pretty good.
And I got to at least mention it because what's going to happen is the day I get off him is the day he wins.
Dylan Fratelli?
Fratelli's got Fratelli. I've been betting on him, and he's been in contention, but I had a better chance of him cashing the ticket at the racquetball court with his glasses.
Those are
the day. I honest to God, it's like It's like Thurston Howell the third playing Mr. Magoo
right.
out there.
You're right. It's like a fishbowl, man. I'm like, what's this guy doing out there?
That's a good.
They're thick.
Tell me you're making $1 million in sponsorship fees to walk around looking like that. By the way, Matthew Fitzpatrick, I got him at 125
That is
to 1
insane.
to win the Masters.
He'll go off at probably, I'm thinking 40 or 50, right? Don't you think?
40 would be my guess.
Yeah, I'm thinking 40. And another guy, who played well last week. We have a Danny Lee sighting, Brian. Didn't he finish like second? He's 100 to 1 too, right beside your boy Fratelli. So maybe if current form stays true, DL Danny Lee in Japan. Now I can handle that at 100 to 1. A little sprinkle on him.
By the way, I would fade McIlroy in any matchup. He was playing military golf in this thing.
Yeah, I think Brooks Koepka rocked his world. The best was so.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about Rory McIlroy? Rory McIlroy. He hasn't won a major since I've been around. Like he didn't.
I got all the majors.
Yeah, I know. Brooks Koepka's like he doesn't have that golf mentality. It's more like a football mentality, like screw you type of thing. And I don't think Rory I think it kind of rattled his cage for a while, thinking, wow, okay, you know what I mean, Brian? It was weird. Like Koepka didn't back down. He says, I win majors. Rory hasn't won anything since I've been around. So kind of fire. That's Koepka.
Yeah, gotta love it. Well, he's tuning up for the majors. That's all he cares about. And
Exactly.
And you have the luxury to do that. That's why he's so he targets those tournaments. He uses every other tournament as a prep.
He also just has a mental edge over these guys. A lot of the time, like golf, it's very, very friendly, and these guys, it's chummy, and I have no problem with that, But back in the day, it wasn't like chummy. It's like sports has changed a lot. These guys are like buddies. They're making a lot of money. Koepka, despite it, he's kind of old school. Like he likes his rivalries. He's not going to chum it up with a guy. Like he'll play Tiger and go, you know what? I'll beat you down. Like I kind of like that about Koepka. People don't like, ooh, he's so gruff. I appreciate it because today's athlete, everybody wants to be buddies. Well, you know what? You got to have a killer instinct, and I think it's cool. Like everyone, he's such a jackass. No, actually, he's not. He just wants to win majors and beat you down. I got no problem with that.
All right, so real quick, then I'll go. I'm leaning Hadwin, like Moore, and I got at least a tiny flyer on Fratelli because I have to. I'm coin flipping between Fitzpatrick and Day.
I kind of like Fitzpatrick, Brian.
Now I'm thinking Fitzpatrick.
I am too. The more I think about it, Matthew Fitzpatrick's current form, Day's good, but out of those two guys, I like both 33 to 1s. I like Fitzpatrick. I like Hadwin, and my flyer for you would be I'm going to ride Danny Lee another week. He got close last week at 100 to 1. I can't say no.
All right, and another guy that's in good form. I won't do it, but Alfred E. Joaquin Neiman.
Yeah. What's up with him? Yeah. He's good, though, this guy. Like, we've been waiting for him to come out. And ever since he got that win, he's good.
But isn't that the definition of what we were just talking about, Cam? This kid, as a kid, and he's like, boy, look at the potential. And, it's a grind, and you're traveling, and you're figuring out all this stuff. And now you got money and blah, 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 blah. Then you become more mature. I mean, that talent is there. There are 10 Joaquin Neimans that are out there. Who's the guy that grows up, matures, and puts it all together? Cantley's a prime example, right? I mean, he had the injury that set him back, but now he's a guy who's 25 to 1 in majors.
Yeah, Cantley too. He has that attitude. It's kind of like not a real popular. You know what I mean, Brian? He's not one of those guys you see out partying and stuff like that. He
looked like he wanted to bury a wedge in Kevin Na's head in the playoff.
Exactly, and Jack Nicklaus took him under his wing type of thing, right? Because Cantley's had major injuries. He's had some setbacks, and he's got his game. He's kind of got. He's not like Koepka wants to pick a fight, but I wouldn't mess with this guy either. He's not going to be your buddy. He's just thinking about winning. And watch out for Patrick Cantley. He's going to win a major real soon.
All right, wrap it up with this. I'm not betting him. I just want to say it. Jazz Janawanaton.
Yeah, Jazz Janawanaton. Now watch out. He's pretty good though. JJ. We'll call him JJ. Jazz. Yeah, Jazz. First time I saw his name, I'm like, put that on the back of a hockey jersey. Janawanaton. I'm like, how many letters? Lou Francischetti. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a lot of letters there. JJ. We'll just call Jazz JJ, Brian. But good.
Sheldon, my favorite name in all of sports ever, and it was on a Sports Illustrated. We told this story about I muraled my house or my bedroom wall when I was a teenager with Sports Illustrated picture, and it was this great picture. Sheldon Cannegeezer. greatest name ever, man.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
All right.
Well, we'll see what happens at the ZOZO Championship, Brian. Hopefully
ZOZO.
we can hit a winner and put some ducats in our pocket, right, buddy?
Hey, so we'll wrap it up with this. We'll see. You're younger than me. Will you get the reference? That you know what they say, Cam? Every time a bell rings, all right, an angel gets his wings. So ZOZO's pedals.
Wow. That was awful, Brian. But
You don't remember? Come on, you get the reference?
no, I don't know what the hell you're doing. Every time an angel,
You don't remember Did you ever see the classic movie? It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh yeah, with Jimmy Stewart.
Jimmy Stewart
Yeah, so
and the
overrated.
little girl.
Oh,
and
yeah,
the bell
yeah,
rings, and her name was Zuzu.
I got to be honest.
Zuzu's pedals.
I got to be honest. Yeah, that movie at Christmas puts me in orbit. I try to avoid. I'm Jimmy Stewart. It's like, okay, I get it. We all got problems.
That's that. All right.
That's that. Yeah. Go off.
That's all, folks. There, enjoy
Yep.
the ZOZO Championship.
Betmaker, let's make some money tonight.
Well, that's the Betmaker Show for now. We publish multiple times each week. We'd like to thank you for listening, and if you liked what you heard, please take a moment to leave a rating and review, or subscribe to our show feed, or share our show with a friend or two and help us grow the show. We very much appreciate it. Visit us on the web at betmaker.com, and reminder to sign up for the newsletter. Thanks to our engineer, Darren Vandermolen, and producer, Mike Gallivan. The Betmaker Show is a production of Cardinal Marketing Incorporated. Betmaker is a registered trademark. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or other use of this content without the express written consent of Cardinal Marketing Incorporated is strictly prohibited.
The handicapping and sports odds information contained on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm the wagering regulations in your jurisdiction, as they vary from state to state, province to province, and country to country. Using this information to contravene any law or statute is prohibited. The podcast is not associated with, nor is it endorsed by any professional or collegiate league, association, or team. This podcast does not target and is not intended for an audience under the age of 18. If you think that you have a gambling addiction, stop this podcast now and please seek help.
Gambling and betting on sports is a form of entertainment and should be about having a good time. But when done excessively, it may negatively affect other areas of a person's life, such as their physical and mental health, school or work performance, finances, and or interpersonal relationships. At Betmaker.com and The Betmaker Show, we're concerned about the addiction that gambling may cause, and for this reason, we encourage everyone to practice responsible gambling. An approach to gambling that helps you ensure that it remains an enjoyable activity. Here are the main principles of responsible gambling. Don't think of gambling as a way to make money. Always gamble with money that you can afford to lose. Set limits and stick to them. Never chase losses. Don't gamble when you're depressed or upset, and create a healthy balance. Always be aware of how much time you spend gambling or thinking about gambling. And do not allow gambling to cause you to miss out on time with family and friends or time spent on other activities you enjoy. By following these guidelines, gambling can be a good time and great entertainment. If you feel at any time that your gambling is taking away from important areas of your life, is causing you stress or depression, or is leading to financial losses that are beyond your control, please reach out for help. Learn more at responsiblegambling.org.